Hi, YouTube. So, one of my only subscribers, Dr. October, I checked out his channel. Shout out, thanks for the sub. And he had responded to AZ Music Haven's request for what do you have the most of, artist or band that takes up the bulk of your collection. For me, I'm a completist with regard to Michael Jackson. So normally this entire cube is all MJ related stuff, Jackson 5, the Jacksons, etc. That would take quite a bit of time to go through everything. So I put together a stack of just compilation material, so not official releases necessarily, in terms of like solo albums, um, or studio albums for that matter, but just official releases, but that are all compilations material that was released on other stuff. It's in no particular order. I thought about putting them in year of release, but I don't think that'll really be worth the time. So first up, we've got Forever Michael. This album in particular sort of struck fancy because of the cover art. It's even got a little sort of pseudo signature on it. A lot of great tracks that don't get a lot of play. Dear Michael, Dapper Dan especially, really like Dapper Dan. So a lot of this is basically just material from J5 that features Michael heavily, that was released as a sort of solo album when he was still touring with the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons. Another one that I found relatively recently was this ultra rare tracks King of Pop sampler. This, cool enough, has a bunch of live performance stuff, especially 1993 Super Bowl performance, which I recently saw the sort of Super Bowl performance in the 1992 presidential inauguration with Bill Clinton and Stevie Nicks. Saw some footage from that recently, and it looks like Michael was supposed to have a more significant vocal performance at the tail end of the performance for the inauguration, but the Clintons went up on stage before him, so you really don't hear his tracks, and it's just a sort of closing credits. I assume that was from live television time constraints, but this album's really good if you're into the live stuff. A bunch of medleys, MTV Awards 95, etc. Next up is Greatest Hits Jackson 5 compilation. If you don't have any of the individual Jackson 5 albums, this album is really, really great. I Want You Back, ABC, Never Can Say Goodbye, Who's Loving You. I mean, especially with regard to the way in which Michael's vocals are treated on this compilation. You can do a lot worse in like the Dollar Bin, etc., than grabbing this set, Motown release, etc. This is a newer one. This is the compilation from the This Is It. I got this relatively recently as well. Really good recordings on this, nice box, etc. Although some of these box materials are kind of hard to keep in pristine condition. They're a little bit clumsy and cumbersome, but this is the music that inspired, I believe, the film. So they're 45 RPM recordings, so there's just a few per side, but it's a great comp insofar as it really blends a lot of the sort of classic early Michael solo artists off of Thriller and Off the Wall, as well as some of the later main albums like Dangerous, etc. Very, very similar in theme. This is the History box set. This is a pretty pricey number as of lately. Haven't opened this one yet, largely because I have all of the tracks in other formats. This is a neat one that you see around a bunch. This is early years stuff. It's on a yellow colored vinyl. It also came with a t-shirt I no longer have. I think I gave it away as a gift because it was very, very small. Takes up a lot of shelf space, unfortunately, though. And not a lot of liner cover art, but there is this really great youthful shot of Michael. Highly recommend. But good recording, great collection of early soulful stuff. Rockin' Robin especially gets on this album. Another one I recently got that I really like. This was like an As Seen on TV 40-track mix. What's cool about this one is this specially sequenced. So between the tracks, there's sort of like a seamless like DJ beat scratch in between from track to track. So if you're into that sort of thing, it's a great way to get it. I also really like this album because it has a ton of the material. I assume this has to do with copyright issues that were basically covers, where Jackson 5, Michael's singing things by Smokey Robinson, singing things written by Stevie Wonder, etc. So there's a lot of material. Really great album to have. Another one, this one's Gold Label Promo. Again, original Soul of Michael Jackson. So this is like a couple of unreleased stuff. Very, very early. Dogging Around, again, Rockin' Robin, Forever Came Today, You've Got a Friend. Very early Michael material from the Jackson 5. Similar, again, but this was actually sort of like released in real time during Michael's breakout as the solo artist. This is Ain't No Sunshine. Again, it's mostly just material taken from Jackson 5 stuff that features heavily. It's also got a bunch of the Music and Me and sort of Ben tracks. Similar to the Best of Michael Jackson with the sort of classic Dove photo. Again, this one's got a lot of cover material where Michael was performing material in the Motown suite. I was really excited when I got this one. The first time I tried looking this up, I guess it just wasn't around a lot, and so people had really outrageous prices on it, but managed to swing a copy for something much more affordable. The tracks on this, if you haven't heard them, are really, really great and fun and relatively rare. We Don't Have to Be Over 21. You've Changed is one of my favorites. Michael's super young. It's sort of a love song to very youthful sort of school time romance. It's got a cover of My Girl, Tracks of My Tears, Lonely Heart, Saturday Night at the Movies. It's a very, very youthful album from the Jackson 5. Similar to ABC, but more sort of like love and soulful tracks rather than like the ABC type stuff. And then, again, this is just different cover art on another sampling of MJ featured material from the Jackson 5, 14 original greatest hits with the Jackson 5. Just a little bit of You is sort of unique to this sample. Oh How Happy, I love that track. We're Almost There, tons of really good hits. So as you can see, I've got, these are just the sampler albums in my collection of Michael. What I'm working my way through right now are albums, trying to get a hold of all studio albums by other major artists that feature Michael in vocals or writing credits. So Pipes of Peace by Paul McCartney has Say, Say, Say on it. There's a couple of Diana Ross albums. Rockwell featured Michael at the time. So putting a sort of like completist list of all of those tracks. But apart from that, hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.